When Alicia woke up, she found herself as the Villainous in an autumn game. While other characters begged the protagonist for forgiveness, Alicia chose a different path. She decided to embrace her role as the true Villainous. Before her reincarnation, Alicia admired the compelling and elegant villainesses in stories. She had no fondness for the original protagonist, who thrived on others' generosity. Loving the concept was one thing, but becoming the Villainous herself was entirely unexpected. At the age of 7, Alicia regained her memories of her previous life and the game. She resolved to become the best Villainous, known in the stories for her beauty, elegance, and myriad talents. Despite her efforts, she couldn't defeat the destined protagonist. Alicia, realizing she needed to improve, sought her 3 older brothers' help to learn swordsmanship. Initially thinking it was a whim, they told her to first commit to physical training for a week. Alicia agreed immediately. In her world, magic was prevalent, categorized into 5 major elements. Nobles excelling in these magics supported the king as the kingdom's top 5 noble families, including Alicia's family, known for mastering dark magic. Alicia planned to study magic in the morning and train physically in the evening. However, the family library lacked magic books, leading her to inadvertently read all the medical books. Her quick recovery from physical training suggested her body's natural talent. After 7 days, Alicia had almost exhausted the library's resources and significantly strengthened her body. To maintain her villainous persona, Alicia began to act with exceptional grace. When her brothers planned to visit the academy they would join in 3 years, Alicia seized the opportunity to learn swordsmanship from them in the courtyard. There, she unexpectedly met several young male leads from the game, including Hudson with fire magic, Finn with light, Gale with wind, Curtis with wood, and the popular crown prince, Sika. Alicia had a soft spot for Sika from her gaming days, but in this life, she intended to avoid romance and focus on being an elegant antagonist, starting with asserting her influence from their first meeting. However, her brothers doubted she had truly committed to physical training. To prove her commitment, Alicia snatched the eldest brother's sword, kicked a tree to drop an apple, and sliced it cleanly in half. Impressed, her brothers agreed to teach her swordsmanship. Sika, witnessing her skill with the clean apple slice, began to visit her home frequently, ostensibly to read but really to watch Alicia and gauge her progress in swordsmanship. Meanwhile, at the palace, the king and the top 5 noble families discussed how to handle a village of criminals on the border. During a break, Finn mentioned Alicia, having invited her to a party he was hosting. Over the year, Alicia had changed significantly. Upon arriving at Finn's event, she found not only the other protagonists, but also the king present. The king, hearing how intelligent Alicia had become over the year, decided to tease her by asking a challenging question about national politics, a topic most 8-year-old girls would struggle with. However, Alicia, determined to be the perfect villainess and having spent her days immersed in the library, found the question trivial. She easily identified current domestic issues and suggested ways to enhance the treasury while maintaining a facade of relationships with neighboring countries to foster economic growth. The original protagonist in the story despised such tactics, but Alicia, embracing her role as the villainess, believed that advancing her country was a valid strategy. Her eloquent and knowledgeable response greatly impressed everyone present. After the party, Alicia received a necklace, which she assumed was a reward for her answers and accepted it without hesitation. Meanwhile, the king received news that the golden rose, representing the Saintess, had been found. It appeared to be the daughter of a local bakery owner. According to a rumor in their country, the birth of a rose maiden would coincide with the arrival of a saint's son in the royal family. Together, they were destined to reform and develop the country, though such changes could lead to turmoil. It was uncertain whether this was a cause for sorrow or joy. In the game, Alicia, as the villainess, would eventually be exiled to a village of criminals. Wanting to understand the conditions there beforehand, Alicia heard that the villagers couldn't even afford bread. Deciding to see for herself, she sneaked out to the village located behind the forest at night. The village, meant for criminals, was surrounded by a magical barrier. Upon entering, Alicia immediately noticed the dire conditions. Soon she encountered Veal, a blind man who, despite his disability, could tell from subtle sounds that Alicia was a noble and carried a sword. Veal had once worked in the royal palace but was blinded and banished for offending a noble. After a brief conversation, Alicia found him to be immensely talented and felt it was a waste for him to be exiled. Revealing her ambition to be an outstanding villainess, she thought Vil could be an excellent mentor. Over the next 2 years, Alicia secretly visited the secluded village, continuing her studies. With her eldest brother now attending the academy and the game's storyline underway, Alicia eagerly anticipated the unfolding of her own story. Hudson invited Alicia to go out in town, and her second brother followed. They first visited a plant shop in town, where Alicia showed extensive knowledge of the plants, claiming such information was merely common knowledge. Upon learning that Alicia was out with Hudson, Sika and his group felt slighted. Curtis asked Alicia if there was something she wanted to do, and she expressed her desire to take a swordsmanship test. However, for some reason, the others present became unusually nervous and opposed the idea. Frustrated by their reaction, Alicia soon passed by her father's study and overheard him and her eldest brother discussing her assessment, seemingly planning to keep it a secret. Angry, she pushed open the door and demanded to know why. Alicia's talent was so exceptional that if she took the assessment now, she was likely to become the center of attention. Her father hoped that she could enjoy her childhood at least until she was 15. Alicia decided to discuss this with her mentor, V, but found that the village during the day was akin to a small Gotham, with criminals bullying men and women and beating children. Vil always disagreed with Alicia visiting during the day. When Alicia wanted to help a bullied child, Vil stopped her. As a child herself, there was little Alicia could do, and the village lacked medicine. Vil taught the village children to read and write. The bullied boy, Jill, was very talented and destined to be a great asset, but being born in a criminal village meant he was branded a criminal for life. After returning home, Alicia thought deeply. Despite being only a few years older, she lived a privileged life and was well protected. If the protagonist of the story were there, they would have undoubtedly saved the child. Not wanting to be outdone by the protagonist, Alicia admitted she wanted to excel as the Villainous. The next day, Alicia went to the plant shop to buy herbs to treat Jill's cold. The shop owner admired her and gave her the plants for free. After curing Jill, Alicia told Vil that she was determined to become the worst Villainous and would continue to study hard. Her emotions caused a fluctuation in magical energy, revealing a new section of magic books in the library. Alicia then began to study magic intensely. Magic was also graded, and reaching level 50 could elevate someone to the status of the top 5 nobles. The highest recorded level was 100, but in the game's story, both the Saintess protagonist and Sika had used magic exceeding level 100. Alicia could not afford to fall behind them. From initially being able to levitate books to controlling the movement of library shelves at will, Alicia mastered these skills in just a few days. After practicing, she felt mentally exhausted and was about to rest when she was suddenly summoned by the king. The king, accompanied by the other top nobles, immediately asked Alicia if she liked the country. Remembering Jill lying sick in bed, Alicia candidly expressed her dissatisfaction with the nobility first system. While she respected capable nobles, she despised those who were incompetent, yet held themselves above others due to their noble status. She criticized the magic system for excluding many talented but underprivileged individuals. Alicia acknowledged that she was merely fortunate to be born into a noble family and did not want her status to overshadow genuine talent. After answering, Alicia was very tired. Sika noticed something was wrong and quickly took her back to her room. Realizing Alicia was too dazed to take medicine, Sika, in a moment of urgency, administered the medicine mouth to mouth. Alicia thought about the kiss from the day before, realizing it was only meant to save her. Once recovered, she snuck into the Magic Academy to secretly gauge her own abilities. Unexpectedly, she quickly got lost within the academy and was found by Liz, the game's protagonist. Alicia found Liz overly familiar, a trait she disliked, but admitted that the protagonist had her merits. Liz had earned a scholarship to the academy through hard work. Still, Alicia was determined to surpass her. As Liz led Alicia toward the school building, another female student passed by, prompting Alicia to quickly hide. Feeling indebted to Liz, Alicia watched from afar as Liz greeted Sika, with other students commenting on how well matched they seemed. Alicia expected that these two would end up together. She waited until the class bell rang before slipping into the academy's library, where she became fascinated by a problem written on the blackboard. Soon, someone noticed Alicia engrossed in solving the problem, a 10-year-old girl with black hair. Sika, hearing of her presence, knew immediately that Alicia had come, and her eldest brother scolded her. Back home, Alicia overheard her father and a colleague discussing heretics. In the original story, the protagonist, due to her exceptional abilities, was nearly deemed a dangerous heretic. Alicia thought they were discussing Liz and declared she would never reveal their conversation. The colleague had a complex expression but did not erase Alicia's memory. Realizing Liz's capabilities were so admired that even the top 5 nobles were watching her, Alicia felt the need as the antagonist to not fall behind. She continued practicing magic. She could now handle level 10 spells, but needed at least level 25 to purify the village's water source. Her eldest brother then called her to the tea room, where, surprisingly, Liz was also present and chatting happily with him. Sika invited Alicia to sit beside him, discussing the upcoming Academy Festival. In the original story, this event was where Liz and Sika's relationship deepened. Alicia felt as if making a move would seem like confessing to Sika, making her slightly embarrassed. Remembering Liz's mastery of all types of magic, Alicia suggested Liz perform at the festival. Liz liked the idea and even invited Alicia to join her on stage. Although Alicia had intended to distance herself from Liz, Liz kept engaging her in lengthy discussions about their hobbies. Unable to resist, Alicia used magic to conjure Liz's favorite flowers, shocking everyone present. Alicia is only 10 years old and can use magic. As people whispered about heretics, Alicia's eldest brother urged her to return to her room to rest. Liz also comforted her, saying everything was fine. Only then did Alicia learn the truth from Veal. In this world, children are not supposed to use magic before turning 13. However, there had been a prodigy like Alicia, who used magic at a young age and reached level 80, but tried to cast a level 100 spell, leading to a loss of control and permanent loss of magical abilities. Veal warned Alicia not to recklessly attempt spells beyond her level. Jill, saved by Alicia, was resistant to nobles. Alicia told him that his life was given by her, and if he didn't want it, she could take it back. But if Jill still had the spirit to resist, he shouldn't give up on himself. She promised to nurture him. Jill felt Alicia was different from other nobles and decided to follow her. The king and the top 5 nobles were still discussing Alicia. They believed Liz was undoubtedly the Saintess as the owner of the Golden Rose. However, they were concerned about Alicia's potentially uncontrolled magic and planned to train her early to manage it. Surprisingly, Liz was the first to experience a magic surge. Alicia was somewhat worried, as she saw Liz as a worthy opponent and preferred an honorable challenge. Alicia also learned from her father that the king had set a precedent by agreeing to let her enter the Magic Academy early once she turned 13. After continued training, she met with the king again 3 years later, having never lost control of her magic and reaching level 80. The king then tasked Alicia with overseeing Liz. Confused, Alicia was told by the king that Liz was suspected to be the legendary Saintess, but lacked political acumen. Thus, he hoped Alicia would guide Liz to become a competent politician, especially since the Golden Rose Saintess was expected to marry into the royal family. Alicia's father immediately objected. The king mentioned that Liz was very popular at the academy and even had a group of fervent fans. Anyone who contradicted Liz might face exclusion by these fans. Hearing this, Alicia, realizing she could play the role of the antagonist, eagerly accepted the job. However, Alicia had her conditions. She negotiated Jill's release from the criminal village. Jill became the first person in history to leave the criminal village. Alicia knew Liz was also paying attention to the village. The actions of the Saintess would be closely watched, and the village was likely on the brink of reform, for better or worse. Veal declined Alicia's invitation to leave with them. As Alicia left the village, she found a severely injured girl with white hair, her body burned and her right leg below the knee necrotic. Unable to save everyone who sought her help, Alicia felt her studies were insufficient. Veal was curious about what kind of villainess Alicia aspired to be. She declared herself to be a strong-willed woman who controlled the big picture. Regaining her composure, Alicia used dark magic in a reverse output to eliminate the inflammation in the injured girl's body. Although she healed the burn wounds, she couldn't save the necrotic leg. Outsiders only saw Alicia raise her weapon and strike down at the girl on the ground. The girl, Rebecca, woke up to find her right leg gone. Though saddened, she was grateful to be alive and tried to thank Alicia. Alicia refused, stating she never saved anyone for free. Rebecca needed to play along in a performance. Alicia then lifted the barrier and announced to the villagers that Rebecca, having survived severe burns, was miraculously destined to lead the village forward as its savior. Yes, Alicia needed Rebecca to play the role of a savior to better understand the entire criminal village. This would help her properly mentor Liz. Alicia believed that reform should come from the bottom up. If the people changed, then the reform would be stable. Jill was brought out of the criminal village by Alicia, who told him to walk tall and proud, as the wrongdoer was not him. Later, Alicia went to the Magic Academy as planned, maintaining her villainous demeanor. When Liz heard Alicia scolding those who touched her hair and came to intervene, suggesting Alicia should graciously apologize, Alicia, intent on being the Villainous, ignored the disapproval of others. The next moment, Sika used a teleportation spell to summon her to the library and advised her to give up supervising Liz. Alicia remembered the game's storyline that the Saint and the Saintess were meant to be together. Maintaining her villainess posture, Sika suddenly lifted her necklace. Alicia thought he would break it, but instead, he kissed it, expressing happiness that she kept wearing it. Alicia was incredulous at being flirted with, especially since Sika was supposed to like Liz. What a player. Soon, Liz invited Alicia to a tea party. Arriving at the venue, Alicia found Liz's personal guard, including her own elder brother, already there. Alicia threw Liz's paper into the air, criticizing her equal rights slogan while planning to tear down the criminal village's walls, likening it to opening prison gates. She argued that such actions would not achieve equality, but would lead to a decrease in public safety. Idealism is not bad, but without practical solutions, it's just empty talk. One of the guards showed a glint of realization, but others remained angry, seeing Alicia's comments as provocation. Alicia pointed out that Liz, with her all-element magic, beautiful appearance, and elegant demeanor, surrounded by supporters, was also a symbol of inequality. True equality doesn't exist if it means denying others' strengths or weaknesses. Such equality could itself be oppressive. Liz was left speechless, yet still clung to her ideals, wanting to create a world where everyone could be happy. Alicia was pleased with Liz's resilient and unyielding attitude. However, Liz felt Alicia was also looking out for her good, but her personal guard didn't think so. Alicia's stern demeanor towards Liz made her a target at the school. Jill felt something was off about these people. How different were empty idealism and harm. Meanwhile, the intelligence gathered by Rebecca indicated that many in the village harbored malice towards the outside world, ready to commit violence if released. However, some still had the potential to change. Alicia was pleased with the information Rebecca collected and advised her to take care of her health and safety. Due to Liz, the outside world began to notice the criminal village, though there was no immediate plan to integrate it. Rebecca knew Alicia intended to play the villain, so she obtained some plants from her to cultivate in the village. She also promised to provide Alicia with timely updates on academic papers. Alicia appreciated her initiative and wrote a paper to submit upon returning. Alicia's second brother, a twin, approached her after she and Liz had debated at the botanical garden. He agreed with Alicia's points, but this caused friction with his twin. He felt something was off and discussed it with Alicia, handing her an invitation to the king's tea party. On the way there, her eldest brother warned Alicia to speak sparingly. In the original game, participants could earn points at the king's tea party by answering questions. Alicia believed she was invited as Liz's supervisor. Liz greeted her, but Alicia's response was lukewarm, displeasing the guard. In the game, to achieve the true ending, the protagonist needed to answer questions correctly at this tea party. Alicia had struggled with this part, feeling that empty idealism was ineffective. Hudson and Gale, characters from the game, were unfriendly towards her, while Finn and Curtis maintained a neutral stance towards both Liz and Alicia. Only her second brother was friendly towards her. Sika's behavior was peculiar. Despite his dislike for her character in the game, he was very friendly in reality. The king discussed the bankruptcy of a neighboring smaller country, which Alicia had predicted 3 years earlier. He asked Liz for her view on the bankruptcy. Liz expressed sympathy, and suggested forming an alliance to help the neighbor's people. Alicia found this impractical, arguing that subsidizing a bankrupt nation was not feasible as it lacked mutual benefits. However, Liz believed that benefits should not be a priority, which her guard agreed with. Alicia countered that assistance was possible, but the neighbor should offer something in return, like becoming a vassal state. This angered the guard. Alicia continued, suggesting taking the neighbor as a vassal state and overhauling its economy could help it recover. Under Alicia's guidance, Liz came up with a suitable solution, earning unanimous approval from the guard. Alicia smiled, feeling satisfied with her role as a guardian. Sika's admiration for her grew. After the tea party, Alicia accidentally got lost in the palace and stumbled upon royal portraits, noticing one seemed to have been removed. Another portrait of Sika's young father with another man caught her attention. The white-haired man next to him looked familiar. Sika mentioned it was his uncle, involved in a royal secret, so Alicia did not probe further. Sika noticed her confusion and escorted her to the palace gates. Alicia found Sika enigmatic but sensed his smile was genuine. Alicia's second brother spoke to Jill about learning to disguise his emotions because Alicia often clashed with Liz. He hoped Alicia would have a smart attendant by her side. Alicia expressed that she didn't dislike Liz, but she couldn't reveal that she was Liz's supervisor, so she openly stated her intention to be the villain. This made her second brother laugh heartily. He mentioned that if Alicia needed a target for her schemes, Liz was the perfect candidate, as she seemed like the protagonist of a story, redeeming everyone around her, making them adore her. Jill wondered if this was some kind of magic, which made Alicia suspicious, so she planned to look into ancient magic books later. Alicia didn't think Liz was intentionally manipulating others. Her actions were similar to the game's setup. The biggest deviation in this world was probably her role as the Villainous. In the original story, she would be defeated. Her second and third brothers were close, and Sika only showed warmth towards the protagonist. The criminal village was also just a name, but entering this world had created many differences. While Alicia was pondering these thoughts, she and Jill were suddenly kidnapped. Alicia wondered how she, with years of sword practice, didn't notice someone approaching. Being kidnapped was never part of the original Villainous's story. The kidnappers even placed a collar on her that restricted her magic. Jill, also captured, told Alicia they were on the north side of the school building. The kidnappers intended to get rid of Jill. Alicia kicked one of them down. Jill, with a broken leg, couldn't escape to get help. Although her magic was restricted, Alicia used her years of sword training to seize the opportunity to free herself and subdued the remaining two kidnappers, remembering to keep one alive for questioning. The kidnapper she couldn't defeat tried to flee. As Alicia chased after him to finish him off, Liz, passing by and hearing the commotion, thought Alicia was attacking an ordinary person and used magic to restrain her. Jill insisted the man was a kidnapper, but Liz didn't believe him until the kidnapper, seeing Alicia immobilized, pulled out a weapon to stab her. At that critical moment, Sika blocked the knife. Others arrived at the scene, and Alicia's second brother was furious to see her injured, while Liz accused Alicia of trying to harm an incapacitated ordinary person. Jill was dumbfounded, as the man had just tried to stab Alicia. Even her eldest brother listened to Liz's words. Alicia retorted, questioning if he wouldn't draw his sword if a family member was hurt, mocking the idea of knightly honor. Liz pointed out that Alicia wasn't injured and argued that violence only breeds hatred. She believed in the bonds between companions, so Sika responded to her expectations and rushed to save Alicia. Alicia was stunned. Was the protagonist in the original story this foolish? Sika, already furious at seeing Alicia hurt, was incensed by Liz's remarks and took action, stating that if Alicia hadn't acted first, Jill would have been killed by the kidnapper. Could Liz, with such a response, truly be called a Saintess? Curtis quickly intervened to stop the fight and healed Alicia's injuries. As Alicia was about to thank him, she spat out a tooth. Sika, even more angered, refused to let Liz treat her and carried Alicia away himself. Alicia told Liz that if such incidents occurred again, she would still draw her sword in battle, stating that being a saint was not more important than standing her ground. Liz's guard still believed Alicia was not kind-hearted. Watching Sika carry Alicia away, Liz looked grim. Finn and Curtis seemed hesitant to speak. Sika stated that Alicia could move freely, but seeing her injured had really scared him. Alicia's heart raced and she fainted from relief. When she woke up, Sika was lying next to her, shirtless. As Alicia was pondering the situation, Sika woke up, retrieved the necklace stolen by the kidnappers, and offered to put it on her. Just as they were getting closer, Jill walked in and pushed Sika off the bed. Alicia's second brother actually admired Sika, but did not want to see the crown prince climbing into bed without his sister's permission. Jill kept the broken tooth as a reminder of the day's humiliation, vowing never to let such an incident happen again. The perpetrator behind the kidnapping, a devout follower of Liz, was found. Alicia was planning her revenge when her second brother informed her that Sika had severely beaten the perpetrator, and his family had suffered significant financial losses as a result. Sika mentioned that the king might have been involved in the incident, not to kidnap Alicia, but to use her situation to push Liz, using Alicia as a stepping stone to test Liz. Jill was furious, questioning if the Saintess was really that great. Alicia nodded, explaining that in Legends, the Saintess leads the nation to greatness, and her villainous role was the perfect whetstone. Sika felt guilty, as the king seemed to care only about the Saintess. Jill recalled the prophecy that the saint and saintess were destined lovers. Alicia understood that even if Sika showed her favor, they could not end up together. However, Sika declared he did not intend to follow fate, and believed a happy ending should be pursued. This softened Jill's view of him a bit. Feeling awkward, Alicia returned to the library to continue her magical studies. Since reaching level 80, she had hit a plateau. She declared her intention to become a historically renowned villainess, relying on her own strength. Her father then called her, asking her to step down as Liz's supervisor, concerned about her injury. Alicia refused to give up so easily, so her father challenged her to reach level 90. Alicia accepted the challenge. To level up, Alicia began a rigorous training regimen, only emerging for meals. Meanwhile, Jill, not wanting to embarrass Alicia, spent his time diligently studying. Alicia's father unexpectedly approached Jill, handing him a magic potion that could pass barriers. Jill thought he was being sent away, but Alicia's father expressed that having him by Alicia's side actually gave him peace of mind. Since Alicia has always been competitive, Jill was the first friend she actively made. Her mother was very angry about the bet her father proposed to Alicia and scolded him. Her father actually hoped Alicia would back down, but this only made her more determined. He felt Liz was a bit strange. Ever since his daughter became involved with Liz, she faced continuous dangers. Moreover, his eldest son became obsessed with Liz to the point of wanting to abandon the family business and not recognizing his own family. Jill honestly didn't believe Liz could save the country, but her father understood that Liz's magical power was too valuable for the country to easily let go of. Similarly, the country wouldn't easily release his daughter, who also possessed exceptional abilities. However, he hoped Alicia could grow up healthy and happy. As one of the top 5 nobles, he faced difficult choices. Jill thought Alicia wouldn't mind being used and even criticized the country for its inefficiency. The nation proclaimed using even young girls for the country's sake, yet discarded ordinary people without magic, who could also become useful through systematic training and development. Therefore, Alicia decided to train Jill to prove she was right. Meanwhile, Rebecca, whom Alicia saved, had started planting food in the criminal village. Some villagers eyed their crops, but another group's leader, Nete, helped Rebecca. He didn't believe Alicia truly intended to free the village, thinking it was just a moment of kindness. However, Rebecca argued that Alicia teaching them to farm instead of just giving food showed she wanted them to stand on their own. Alicia gave them hope, and it was up to them to decide how to move forward. The king spoke with Sika, mentioning that Liz's paper had made the nobles start paying attention to the criminal village, and Alicia's insights had filled in Liz's gaps. Therefore, the king wanted Sika to take on the task of reforming the criminal village. Previous monarchs had planned to reform it, but without support, and due to other pressing matters, it had been delayed until now. The king felt he hadn't handled it well. Sika suggested the king take a rest and delegate tasks across different regions rather than have all decisions made by the top 5 nobles and the king alone. The king valued talents like Alicia, but if she couldn't break through the level 90 barrier, she would no longer be able to continue in politics, as per her father's stipulation. Alicia had been in seclusion for half a year. Jill once asked if she was training so hard to catch up with Liz. Alicia admitted that she might never reach Liz's level of magic, given Liz's protagonist's aura, and acknowledged that effort doesn't always guarantee success. However, she couldn't afford to fall too far behind, as it would undermine her confidence in challenging Liz. Her second brother also thought Liz's magical talent was formidable. Most people, once they saw Liz's magic, would feel they couldn't win against her. But Alicia was an exception, and he believed his sister could break the norm. Alicia took a 6-month break from school, during which rumors began to circulate that Sika disliked Alicia. Sika was particularly upset about these rumors and didn't know how they started. Her second brother repeatedly explained that Alicia was not that kind of person, but everyone thought he was just defending his sister because he was her brother. Curtis told Sika that there were still rumors at the academy about Alicia allegedly attacking Sika at night, to which Sika wished that rumor were true. Liz approached Sika trying to curry favor, and the students around them praised them as a perfect match, labeling Alicia as an interloper. Sika was furious, directly rejecting Liz's invitation and walking away. Liz's guard and even the students at the academy blamed Alicia, saying that Sika and Liz's poor relationship was due to Alicia's interference. Seeing Sika about to explode, Finn quickly pulled him away and quietly informed him that the 3 people who had just spoken ill of Alicia had previously disliked Liz, but had suddenly become her loyal fans. Curtis and Finn were just watching the drama unfold, while Sika discreetly sent someone to investigate why Liz had suddenly gained everyone's favor. 2 years later, Jill finally received news that Alicia had finished her training. He immediately went to her side and found that Alicia had blossomed into a great beauty. Upon ending her seclusion, Alicia quickly headed to the criminal village, which had significantly improved over the past 2 years. Netta, who had previously helped Rebecca, had become the village's security guard. Recognizing Alicia as an outsider, he realized she was the one who had helped before. Netta had always suspected Alicia of having ulterior motives, so Alicia took this opportunity to suggest a duel to deal with any remaining troublemakers in the village. Net couldn't match Alicia in a single move. While some villagers thought Alicia used magic, Net knew her swordsmanship was genuine. Alicia acknowledged her privileged background and noticed Netta's concern for Rebecca, who blushed at the mention. Then Veal arrived, and Alicia was delighted to see him, because she had mastered level 91 dark magic. Without regard for Veal's objections, she used a spell to transfer one of her own eyes to him, literally sharing her eyesight. Unsurprisingly, Alicia's father fainted when he heard about it. To him, it was unthinkable that his treasured daughter, not seen for 2 years, would return with one eye less given to a criminal. Despite the shock, Alicia stood by her decision. Having mastered level 90 magic, she now held some power in this magic-dominated world and could continue as Liz's supervisor. Jill made a covering eye patch for Alicia, who decided to embrace her role as a villain fully. Dressed in a black eye patch and a black dress, she looked more like a pirate than a villainess, which was exactly the villain vibe she wanted. Upon her arrival, she was immediately challenged by Liz's follower, a girl named Jenny, who criticized Alicia's outfit. Alicia, unfazed, cheerfully retorted, leaving Jenny speechless and seeking Liz's help, claiming Alicia had mocked her appearance. However, Liz didn't take sides immediately, but suggested hearing both sides of the story. Alicia cheerfully admitted that she had indeed mocked Jenny's appearance and noted that Liz had also become tougher to deal with over the past 2 years. Liz claimed she wanted to hear both sides and admitted that 2 years ago, she had made a mistake by only listening to one side. She still believed she had saved Alicia and considered herself lucky. Things she wanted always seemed to work out, and people around her tended to become her friends. Liz was confident she could make everyone happy and save everyone, including Alicia. Alicia noticed that Liz had also realized her own change, as people around her acted like fervent fans, constantly praising her. Alicia calmly told Liz that past good fortune didn't guarantee a lifetime of it. She approached Liz with a smile, seemingly adjusting Liz's collar, but actually mocking her for being two-faced and probably disliking her. After all, with Liz's power, she could have controlled both people 2 years ago, but instead gave the kidnapper a chance to attack. Liz, flustered, insisted she, as a saint, could not have such feelings. She thought Alicia was portraying her as the villain, but in reality, Alicia hoped Liz would be a good person. specifically one who could implement her ideals, not just talk about them. Alicia believed in teaching someone to fish rather than just giving them fish, advocating for self-reliance over waiting for rescue. This message quickly reached Sika. Later, Alicia and Jill took their exams. Jill's performance stunned the teachers, who regretted that he was only a commoner, noting that he could have achieved much more with magical abilities. Alicia always found this rule unreasonable, as many clerical jobs didn't require magic, but were reserved for magic-wielding nobles. Not every noble had such talents. So many capable commoners were wasted. Alicia wanted to dismantle the noble system and improve national education. At that moment, Sika appeared, deeply concerned and angry about Alicia's missing eye. Alicia instinctively rejected his concern, asserting she didn't need his protection. Jill thought Alicia was being impulsive this time. Although she claimed to want to be the villain, she never trampled on those who genuinely cared for her, especially since she had feelings for Sika. She just didn't know how to handle these emotions. Alicia and Jill advanced to the highest grade, facing strong opposition from their peers. Liz graciously welcomed her, but Alicia did not even glance at Liz, instead focusing on Sika's retreating figure. After class, Sika walked away, and Liz still tried to befriend Alicia, expressing a willingness to listen to her ideas and hoping they could start over. Alicia found the original protagonist tenacious and thought maybe such a character was the right match for a prince. She did not accept Liz's invitation and turned to leave, aware that she, as a villainess, could not compare to the original protagonist. Alicia realized she valued Sika greatly, but could not maintain her role as the villainess in front of him. Jill suggested that Alicia distance herself from Sika, but Alicia felt that would be like running away. Instead, she approached Sika to apologize for her harshness the day before. Sika was taken aback, but then Alicia fired up, declaring that she didn't need silent protection. She emphasized that she was a villainess who actively pursued what she wanted and never quietly sacrificed without expecting something in return. That, she stated, was the work of a saint, and she was no saint. Everyone in the restaurant was stunned. Sika was amused by Alicia's declaration and promised not to hide his feelings anymore, but instead told Alicia to be ready for whatever comes. Liz, witnessing this exchange, felt uncomfortable. Her mood affected the others at the venue. Later, Liz approached Sika to discuss some matters, only to find him smiling happily, which made her view Alicia with even more complexity, treating her as a real competitor. This was exactly the attitude Alicia wanted. At that moment, a female student approached Alicia, asking her to go somewhere with her. Alicia, having just offended Liz and now approached by an unknown student, bluntly refused, saying she didn't go places with strangers, and walked away. Unbeknownst to her, the student recorded their conversation. After school, Alicia went to the rose garden where her eldest brother, visibly upset, confronted her. Alicia explained she had received an invitation. Then Jenny, the girl from that morning, appeared with the student who had tried to lure Alicia away. They produced a recording gem, accusing Alicia of being jealous of Liz and too afraid to confront her directly, thus taking her anger out on Liz's admirer. They played the edited recording that made it sound like Alicia had been abusive. Influenced by Liz, the crowd already harbored animosity towards Alicia and began to blame her. Alicia felt this was exactly the kind of situation a villainess like her would find herself in. But before she could react, a white-haired girl named Layla stepped forward, noting the crowd's strange behavior and refusing to accuse Alicia without hearing her side. Jenny dismissed Layla's intervention as an attempt to ingratiate herself with the nobility. Just then, Sika's subordinate Mel stepped forward and produced a recording that captured the entire conversation, proving the student had lied. The student panicked and confessed that Jenny had coerced her into making Alicia look like the enemy, and she had been too afraid to refuse. Jenny immediately spoke up, saying Alicia had always opposed Liz and that everyone disliked Alicia, so she felt compelled to punish her. At this point, Liz stepped forward to apologize to Alicia. Alicia scoffed, questioning why Liz was apologizing when she hadn't directed Jenny's actions. Liz responded that Jenny had acted out of loyalty to her and that she couldn't ignore it. Liz's casual apology seemed to resolve the matter. Mel then changed the subject and led Alicia away. Alicia knew Mel was no ordinary person. Mel openly declared being a huge fan of Alicia, admiring everything from her appearance to her personality. and expressed a strong dislike for Liz, who, despite appearing saintly, turned everyone into her followers without them even realizing the mental manipulation and deceit involved. Mel was deeply unsettled by this. While there were clear-minded students, most chose to stay silent to avoid trouble. Mel greatly admired Alicia for being able to directly challenge Liz. Sika grabbed Mel's head and informed Alicia that Mel was his intelligence officer and a genius in earth magic, which is why he could use recording magic to capture the earlier conversation. He had sensed trouble from 2 individuals earlier and had asked Mel to secretly watch over Alicia. Sika hadn't told Alicia before, fearing she would feel her freedom was restricted. But after Alicia's forthright words that day, Sika decided to be honest about his feelings. Alicia, embarrassed, turned and ran away. Later, she went to the criminal village where Vil had decided to make changes and revealed his past. It turned out he was the current king's elder brother. Alicia was not surprised. She had felt familiar with a portrait she had seen before, and now her suspicion was confirmed. Vila was the first child of the former king. His mother died early, and he immersed himself in the study of magic, reaching level 80 by age 10. However, unsatisfied with his power, Vil attempted to use level 100 magic, which led to a catastrophic loss of control, and he permanently lost his magical abilities. A year later, his younger brother was born. The current king, born of a mother without official status, simply because the nation needed an heir. With Vil unable to inherit the throne due to his loss of magic, he served as an advisor to the king. Despite his circumstances, he wholeheartedly protected and strategized for his brother and the future of the kingdom. However, he was ultimately framed by his brother's mother for plotting against the king and was blinded and thrown into the criminal village. The Dowager Queen, who orchestrated this, erased all traces of Vil's existence, claiming he had disappeared, and left no record of his supposed crimes. The king likely does not know the truth and thinks he merely vanished. The 3 wise men who had advised the king with Vil were also exiled. Vil mentioned his past now to seize the opportunity to speak with the king, clear his name, and aid in liberating the criminal village. Vil was grateful for Alicia's arrival. He had been arrogant in his use of magic, ruining his prospects and overreaching in his power. Upon meeting the king again, he might begin with an apology. Alicia greatly admired Vil. Back at school, some nobles who disliked Liz tried to curry favor with Alicia, but she rebuffed them. Although she disliked Liz's impractical ideas, she recognized her talent and strength. Alicia preferred intelligent commoners over foolish nobles, leading the spurned nobles to leave. Meanwhile, Jenny apologized to Liz, who acknowledged that Jenny had erred out of loyalty to her and wasn't upset. Liz hoped others would also forgive Jenny. Although the atmosphere seemed cordial, Alicia's elder brother warned Jenny not to get too close to Liz, as it could damage her reputation. Jenny trembled but didn't dare respond. Liz then took everyone to a tea party in the garden, where they encountered the 3 noble girls who had previously spoken ill of Liz to Alicia. Alicia's second brother warned her that she might be in trouble again. She decisively went to check the classroom situation. Mel, overhearing this, quickly fetched Sika. The 3 nobles pinned their bad-mouthing of Liz on Alicia, but Finn and Curtis, having passed by earlier, spoke the truth about what they had heard. Mel mocked the 3 for not even being able to play minor roles well. They were likely targeting Alicia out of spite using Liz. Alicia even felt a bit of sympathy for Liz as the situation became awkward. Deciding to embrace the villain role, Alicia sarcastically commented that the nobles couldn't even be good at being bad, calling them rubbish. Liz tried to defend them, and her guards immediately jumped in, praising Liz's courage and claiming she was the first to protect everyone from wolves at the academy. Alicia retorted, questioning how wolves from the border could have crossed mountains to attack the academy. Hudson dismissed the importance of the details, focusing instead on Liz's bravery. Alicia, frustrated with the foolishness, walked away, with Sika giving Hudson a stern look. Liz, seeing Sika's protective stance towards Alicia, felt even more dejected, affecting the 3 noble girls who began mindlessly supporting Liz. Jill told Alicia that during her seclusion, wolves really had appeared at the academy, likely sent by a neighboring country as a test. Alicia was contemplating how to become stronger, while Sika suddenly took her to his private study. He shared that he was aware of Vil's situation and had previously attempted to reform the criminal village. He advised Alicia not to inquire into the affairs of the neighboring country, hoping she would focus only on him. Alicia refused, stating that only she could decide her actions. Jill continued to excel at school, facing mockery for his commoner status, but outperforming others academically. Sika admired Alicia's ability to develop Jill's talents, but noticed that his closeness to Alicia twisted Liz's emotions further. Recently, a disease called spot disease had broken out in their country, treatable only with a rare herb from the neighboring country. The outbreak stemmed from river pollution, most severe near the criminal village at the border. Alicia suspected the neighboring country's involvement. Mel asked Sika if he really intended to let Alicia continue her investigation. Sika did not want to restrict Alicia's freedom. He loved her for her independence. On the other side, Jill was helping Alicia retrieve her notes, but was intercepted by Liz along the way. Liz, aware that Jill was from the criminal village, asked him to share details about the village, expressing her intention to write a paper to change its current state. Jill noted that the villagers had already started their own reforms, and doubted that the people from both sides could integrate so quickly. Liz, however, believed in the potential for mutual understanding among humans. Her radiant demeanor gradually influenced Jill's expression, but luckily, Sika arrived just in time. Liz felt she was merely having a normal conversation with Jill, but Sika released Jill from her influence. Sika escorted Jill back to Alicia and warned her to be cautious around Liz. Jill was still puzzled about what had just happened. Meanwhile, Mel was investigating Liz's unusual behavior. Liz, aware of Sika's special treatment towards Alicia and his rejection of herself, spread her malice, affecting Jenny. Layla, in the cafeteria, noticed something was off with Jenny. Alicia researched the neighboring country, an area not featured in the game. She grew curious about this world beyond the Autumn game setting, suspecting that many of the kingdom's issues were linked to the neighboring country. However, the only way to reach the neighboring country was to be exiled by the kingdom. Alicia humorously remarked, "What are you guys next door, a trash can?" Jill continued to urge Alicia to abandon any ideas of getting exiled on purpose. Meanwhile, in the cafeteria, Jenny, upset because Layla had spoken up for Alicia, crazily cut Layla's hair, blaming everything on Alicia. She claimed Layla idolized Alicia, but could never become her. Alicia, aiming to be a villainess, was unfazed by external opinions. If Layla truly admired her, Alicia believed Layla would learn to be independent. Indeed, Layla countered Jenny's accusations, stating Alicia had done nothing wrong, and it was Jenny who was at fault for cutting her hair. An enraged Jenny attempted violence but was stopped by Alicia, who decisively cut her own hair with the scissors, exasperated by the constant provocations. Sika found Alicia's short hair appealing and noticed Mel's jealous expression as he comforted Alicia. Mel and Layla, distant relatives, saw Layla become a staunch Alicia admirer. Moreover, many silent female students also cut their hair short, showing their support for Alicia. However, students loyal to Liz immediately tried to expel them, but Curtis intervened to smooth things over. The three nobles who had previously spoken ill of Liz turned against Jenny, blaming her for Liz's poor reputation and attacking her with dirt. Alicia stumbled upon this scene and intervened directly, initially aiming to deliver a Villainess's line. Jenny, ungrateful, continued to blame Alicia. Exasperated, Alicia told her to cry if she wanted to, locked the door and muted the room, leaving Jenny to sob uncontrollably. Alicia's response was direct. She verbally retorted and acted decisively, challenging the expectations of a typical saintly response. Meanwhile, Mel, during his investigation, uncovered crucial information. Mel quickly found Alicia and disclosed that he had learned the secret of the Saintess. There is a type of enchantment magic in this world that only a Saintess can use. Historical records show that whenever a Saintess appeared, people during those times became very peaceful, leading to the belief that the presence of a Saintess ensures a happy and prosperous life for all. Liz might be unwittingly using this magic, and only those with strong willpower and magical strength can resist such enchantment. However, the emotional changes in the people around Liz were too drastic. Alicia suspected that Liz's enchantment magic might be out of control, possibly influenced by her own emotions, turning positive feelings into negative ones. Jill asked if there was a way to break the spell. Alicia's second brother mentioned that simply doubting Liz could break the spell, as he had done so himself. He thought explaining the logic behind it would be enough to dispel the magic. but underestimated the protagonist's charm, as her supporters refused to listen to reason. Seeing Sika's favorable treatment of Alicia, Jill realized why Liz's magic might be running rampant and decided to have a serious talk with her. However, Liz's supporters told her about rumors that she was enchanting them, leading to her emotional downturn. They were again influenced by this, blaming Alicia for being jealous and spreading rumors about Liz, and advising Liz to stay away from Alicia. When Alicia and her group tried to talk to Liz, her supporters quickly whisked her away, accusing Alicia of spreading rumors. Seeing they couldn't approach Liz, Alicia felt urgent to resolve Liz's outburst before it caused more trouble. Knowing Liz had a liking for Sika, they used him as bait to lure Liz to the office. After separating Liz from her followers, Alicia's second brother and Mel joined the eldest brother. Alicia handed an ancient magic book to Liz, asking her to stop the unintentional release of her enchantment magic. Liz denied using such magic, but Alicia reminded her of her own words about always being lucky, suggesting it was the magic influencing everyone around her. The fervent following and praise without any dissent. Didn't Liz find that odd? Since Sika conveyed these points, Liz calmed down. She questioned why Sika wasn't affected by her enchantment magic, even though she had confessed her feelings to him and he remained unmoved. Under Liz's influence, the ancient spellbook appeared brand new. She stated that the power of a Saintess was not what she wanted. When she first entered school, she was nervous but fell in love with Sika at first sight. To be worthy of him, she strove to fit the ideal image of a Saintess. Alicia sighed, noting that Liz too was playing the role of the ideal Saintess, often saying things she didn't mean. Liz candidly responded that she didn't care about Alicia's opinions, but wanted to know if Sika would have liked her if she had met him first. Sika shook his head, stating that even if Liz had come first, his heart would only be moved by Alicia. The Saintess's rose suddenly withered. Liz confessed her dislike for Alicia, noting her composure, elegance, and intelligence, and how easily she won Sika's affection. She even wished Alicia didn't exist. Just then, Mel appeared with the eldest brother. After learning the truth, the eldest brother broke the curse. They had believed they genuinely liked Liz, only to find out they were controlled by her enchantment magic, almost leading them to harm their own family. Once calm, the eldest brother felt his thinking had been abnormal. Liz admitted she didn't want this power, but no one had taught her how to use the Saintess's powers properly. Layla sarcastically remarked that Liz was reaping what she sowed. Liz, however, avoided taking responsibility, believing it wasn't her fault. Alicia knew if this were a romance game, Liz would just need to find her destined partner to live happily. But this was no longer just a game. She told Liz to forget about being the ideal Saintess, as that was just empty talk by others. Just be yourself and ignore those unreasonable demands from the public. Liz had helped many people and enjoyed seeing their smiles. She wanted everyone to be happy. Alicia said this was Liz's true nature. She wasn't bad, in fact, she was very kind. Rather than trying to live up to everyone's ideal of a Saintess, Liz should be a down-to-earth Saintess, true to her own style. It was okay to be imperfect and cause some trouble. Liz decided to continue improving herself and borrowed the magic book to study further. That evening, Sika and Alicia took Veal to meet the king. The king immediately recognized that Veal's eyes were a gift from Alicia and expressed his gratitude. The king had been afraid to face Veal, but had learned the truth from his mother and deeply regretted his past actions. After a falling out with his mother, he had kept a portrait of his brother. The brothers reconciled, and Alicia figured the criminal village could now be liberated. She and Sika had investigated and found that the criminals originally exiled to the village had disappeared over time through brawls and time, leaving mostly those wrongly accused or descendants of the original criminals. Sika asked Alicia what reward she desired. Alicia noted that Liz had recovered and believed Liz's talent would allow her to grow quickly, so she no longer wished to supervise her. Sika accepted Alicia's request and asked when she would be ready to respond to him, stating he would wait for her. As Alicia prepared to face her feelings, she met Sika at the academy the next day, only to find he didn't recognize her. Sika's claim of not knowing her confused both Alicia and Jill. Even those familiar with their relationship found it absurd. Sika repeatedly insisted he did not know Alicia and suspected something was amiss with her, demanding she go to the castle for a trial. Even Alicia's father found the situation outrageous, and planned to speak directly with the king. Alicia was summoned to the castle where Sika had accused her of casting black magic on him the previous night, causing his amnesia. Alicia knew the truth. She and Sika had taken Veal to see the king, and the matter of the criminal village was still unresolved. Therefore, the events of the previous night had to remain secret. However, it was publicly perceived that she had a private meeting with Sika and was suspected of bewitching him. Based on this accusation, she was likely to be exiled. Yet Alicia was still considering investigating the neighboring country, and her exile could facilitate that. Seeing Sika accusing her and Mel testifying made her realize something. She decisively threw her necklace to Sika, accepting her exile. News of the trial spread quickly through the academy. Some believed Alicia deserved it, while others supported her, confident she had done no wrong. Even Jenny thought Alicia might have a backup plan. After Alicia's exile, her elder brother stopped attending the academy, Sika was busy with the criminal village, and Liz secluded herself to study magic. Hudson, feeling guilty towards Alicia, sought to enhance his magic, believing his insufficiency had allowed Liz to manipulate him, leading to further complications. Veal and others heard the news and suspected a conspiracy. Surprisingly, Liz, having reverted to her true self and seeing Alicia as a competitor, did not want to see her wrongfully exiled. She offered Alicia her enchantment magic to lure out the real culprit. However, Alicia revealed she already knew the manipulator was Sika. The eldest brother and others eavesdropping were stunned. Alicia explained that Sika's magic was strong, and no one in the kingdom could take him down. This meant he was only pretending to have amnesia, actually playing along with Alicia to help her go to the neighboring country to fulfill her wish. The mystery of the wolf that appeared at the academy was still unsolved. Liz marveled at how much Sika indulged Alicia and asked if Alicia had responded to Sika's confession. Liz shared her experience, saying unreciprocated love was painful. Alicia pondered this. That evening, her father told his sons that the king was aware of Sika's plan because the situation with the neighboring country was suspicious and they needed someone to investigate. Alicia was the best candidate for this. Alicia asked Jill to deliver a letter to Sika, which was a rejection of his feelings. She had her own ambitions and felt that her feelings for Sika would complicate her future plans. Despite the difficulty, she had to decline. Alicia told Jill that after her departure, he should continue his studies and look after Liz, encouraging her to become a reliable Saintess. Meanwhile, Sika, staring at the necklace, was distracted. The next morning, as the criminal village was liberated, Alicia boarded the carriage for her exile. Net, just leaving the village, suggested Sika should hurry after Alicia. However, it turned out Sika wasn't overseeing the village's liberation. He had already teleported to pursue Alicia. Faced with Sika's intense emotions, Alicia decided to take a chance on both love and her career, but would wait until after her investigation. As she crossed the border, Alicia couldn't help but reflect on how she had ultimately followed the script by being exiled, but this time it was truly her own choice.